everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to unveil your not-so-secret identity?
Yeah, sure. I'm Brad Talton, the founder of Level 99 Games, and it's great to be with you here today, Jackie.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic to get a chance to talk with you. We got a chance to meet at YomaCon, and it was so much fun this year. I believe that you go to a crap ton of conventions, right? So it wasn't your first rodeo.
Well, less than you think. YomaCon was actually my first guest appearance, so it was really neat to see the convention from the other side. I usually attend as an exhibitor and, run a booth and sell things. It was nice to be able to go around, talk with folks, do a few panels, and kind of be a part of the celebrity side of the convention, which is really cool. Like, YomaCon put on a great show for us, and it was really nice. And I guess there's nothing else that I've done that's quite like that.
Well, just a fun reminder for everybody, YomaCon pre-sales for 2018 just went up today. So if you want to go to YomaCon again, just let my audience know. But
I do.
We'll keep that in mind. Hopefully we'll see you again. That would be great. But I'm so sad because I never got a chance to go to any of your panels. I heard the Adventures in Game Making one was really good.
It was quite fun, and the Kickstarter one that we did was nice too. It was a nice, intimate setting. Like, we all sat there on the same level and talked about our projects and what we were planning to do, and giving advice and asking questions and all that. It was a lot of fun. And the tabletop gaming area was really nice. I don't know if you got a chance to make it over to the tabletop gaming at all.
I saw it through a door.
Okay. Well, I sat there and gave out demo copies and sold games, and it was good. It was quite a lot of fun.
Awesome. I wish I had a chance to explore a little bit more, but that convention was really special to me because, you got a chance to meet her as well. That was the first time I got to meet Sawa in person, and we've been friends ever since I've interviewed her, I think back in 2011. So it was a very kind of special con to have that.
Well, Sawa seemed really cool. It was nice to get to meet her as well.
She's so easy to get along with. But to rewind a little bit, now that we've talked about YomaCon, for the fans out there, let's talk about a little bit about your start and your company. So, when did you get the idea to create this company?
Well, I actually started things back in 2008 in the Depression that we had. A lot of people got laid off, and I was laid off like a year or two after that. I was in the business of contract programming for iPhone apps, and I decided, well, I can do independent contracting, and I can work on some of these side projects on my games. And so I started doing RPG companion apps because that was something I was really into back then, was role-playing games. And eventually, the Kickstarter bubble kind of started up, and I saw other board game companies making projects on Kickstarter to be successful. And I said, well, something I've always been interested in, making board games. I've kind of been doing it as a hobby for years and years, so I'll give it a try. And I got on there and I made my first project on Kickstarter, which was BattleCon War of Indies, our kind of anime fighting, Street Fighter-esque sort of card game. And it was successful. And from there, we've just been doing a few projects every year and coming out with new stuff, and it's really been a blast.
I mean, that's great to hear, and obviously my cat was very enthused by the story as well. I apologize for that. That's the first time she's wanted to be a part of an interview, so she must really like you. But for the fans out there, if they want to keep up to date with some of your Kickstarters, can they follow you on, social media for that stuff, or your official website? How can they be in the know for that?
I mean, we try to be everywhere that we can be. The best way to keep up with news is to subscribe to our mailing list. The best way to meet us and find out about us is just visit Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr or our own website. We're at Level 99 Games pretty much everywhere, and www.level99games.com. So, yeah, it's pretty easy to find us with a Google search.
I remember the beginning of the Kickstarter boom, too. Though I think the thing that dragged in a lot of people was the Double Fine game. that kind of exploded, and then everybody kind of jumped on it. How do you feel now, where Kickstarter is kind of, it's had a few years, it's become more of the norm? Are you finding it more difficult now that more time has gone on?
I think that it is. I think that it is a little more difficult. Maybe not for me, but for a lot of the people who are starting out now, because there's a lot more expectation to it. In the early days, you would do a Kickstarter and people would get on board, and it didn't matter if you were really proven or how good or bad your product looked in a lot of cases. But nowadays, people really want to see that that you've got things together, that you are. That you've done a project, or that you've at least worked in the industry already, that you have something that looks pretty close to production. And I think that's, in one case, consumers getting a bit wiser, because, they know what it looks like when a project is set up to fail or set up to succeed. And also I think that it is, consumers maybe getting a little more jaded too with the idea of, people who are not actively part of an industry, kind of like picking up a new job without training. So I think it's a little bit of both. But I think the bar is definitely higher now for people who are coming into the crowdfunding market.
How do you feel about incentives? I feel like every Kickstarter is trying to outdo themselves by offering just more items that relate to the product, like, specific T-shirts or coasters or things like that. Like, do you think there's a place where you go maybe overboard with that?
I think the place where you go overboard is where your expenses are outpacing your profits. Like anything else, you need to be making money on your project, or at least breaking even on your project. But especially as a creator who is more beholden to your art than you are to the money, you will often, be tempted to throw in more stuff than you than you really ought to. And I've done this myself. I've fallen down that rabbit hole, and I said, like, well, if we make this much, we'll even make another game, and if we make this much, like, everybody will get this thing for free, and it doesn't end well, let me tell you. So planning is paramount.
So, are there any other lessons you think you've learned, running as many Kickstarters as you have for board games?
I think the most important thing is, like I said, planning. Plan everything. Plan production, plan fulfillment, plan which countries you're going to ship to and how much the shipping costs, and, plan how much the art costs, how long it's going to take. We've gone over time, we've gone over budget. We have made all the mistakes, but we still managed to pull through in the end, through hard work and keep gritting your teeth and working through it. But I wouldn't wish all those lessons on everybody else that goes through through the process. So plan early.
That's great. I think that's great advice for a lot of people. So my question is, board games is an interesting market, I feel. So how did you start with advertising? I feel like that would, besides just going to conventions are money, right? Like, you actually have to have money to get to a convention and do that. So how do you start on like day one?
Yeah, and it's very likely that you're not going to make money at conventions. I mean, conventions are pretty much just a way to meet new fans. Like, if you sell it is like just putting stuff in distribution or just having a sale in your store. Both of those will make you probably more money than going to a convention will. But the best way to advertise, in board game industry at least, is reviewers. Reviewers are really huge. Send out some free copies of your game to people who are in the business of reviewing these things. Get your name out there and show off the game. I think that's the most important thing, and it's not very expensive from that kind of standpoint. That said, a lot of reviewers don't want to do Kickstarter projects because there are so many. So if you're in a pre-release state, you have to be a little more open-minded about who you're going to have review your game. since a lot of the main media outlets won't touch a game that's not in publication yet. They want to show their fans something that they can buy right away, not something that they can buy next year, and not something from an unproven developer. So working with more independent reviewers is a great way to get started, and that's what we did.
That's interesting advice, because I hear opposites on that advice, because, for example, there's so many people who now review on like YouTube that some people get like bombarded with free review requests for some of like their indie games or their board games, and then they have to kind of shift through them all, like what is worth to them. So it's interesting to hear two opposite like viewpoints.
Having too many reviewers asking me for copies is a problem I wish I had, but I've never had the problem where reviewers want more copies and I run out. That doesn't come up so much. One day,
right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So for the fans out there, what products or games are you pushing right now that you want people to really know about?
Well, the biggest thing from Level 99 these days is a game called Millennium Blades. This is a board game about a group of friends who play a collectible card game. The collectible card game is also called Millennium Blades, and it's sort of a meta CCG simulator where you are a gamer, you have a starter deck of trading cards, and you buy, sell, trade, fuse cards together, deal on the aftermarket, and you try to build up the best deck that you can, and this all happens in real time. So for 20 minutes, you're just buying and selling and working in this market, and then at the end of that, a tournament begins, and whatever cards you have left over, that's what you have to play in the upcoming tournament. And so it's like real deck building. Like if you ever played a Magic sealed draft, that's kind of the experience this game delivers. And it's something that's really pretty unique. It's not out there in any other game, that sealed draft experience.
It also has some really humorous art, and I think that's what makes it really appealing for me personally, is that I can play a card down and everyone will laugh at it.
Yeah, the references in this game were quite a lot of fun to make, and it's actually how we met, because through this game I met Crows, and through Crows I met you, and that's how I ended up at Youmacon. So, from his connections to Yu-Gi-Oh, he was just fascinated by it. So it was really neat to be able to make this game. It was a lot of fun to work on these crazy things, and the artist Fabio was a real big influence in this game. Like a lot of the jokes were our visual jokes, and a lot of jokes are the artist's jokes, not my jokes as a designer. So a lot was contributed by him as well.
Fantastic. So if the fans want to grab the game, where are places they can do that?
Well, Amazon's a great place to grab it. You can get it directly from our website, especially if shipping in your country is difficult. We try and offer it everywhere we can. But, the game can be found pretty much wherever fine board games are sold.
Fantastic. I've got that link up on our chat in case anyone wants to go grab it. Just saying. Now that we've gotten a chance to talk a little bit about your past, your present, what are you really looking forward to with the company, with Level 99? What are your aims for the future?
Well, I'd like to make Level 99 games a household name, like Fantasy Flight, or some of the other hobby, like well-known hobby games. We've been at it a few years. We've had ups and downs, but we're trying to stay on track and move towards that vision. We're working a lot in the video game medium to try and reach out to meet more folks. And so we're bringing BattleCon, which is the first game we ever published, which has now had like 4 different expansions throughout the years. We're bringing that to our digital medium, and so you can actually play BattleCon online alpha right now, and that's available through some of our social media channels. If you go around and you ask about it, you'll surely find a way into the alpha. We will be opening up beta probably in January, and that'll be our first major video game release. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that we can also get into some other types of transmedia stuff, like maybe into like machinima YouTube videos, or even comics in the coming years. So I got a lot of different things. I'm kind of sorting out my thoughts now that we're at the end of the year.
That's actually really interesting. I love the fact that you're trying to put the media on something online. So for people like me who don't have friends in real life, no, but like I mostly interact with people online. Most of the staff isn't located near me; they're located across the U.S. So last night we all got together on Tabletop Simulator, and I convinced everyone to play Nightmare for the first time, that VHS board game, and it was
really
fabulous.
I have a copy of Nightmare in my upstairs room. Yeah. It doesn't have a tape though, so I have to go on YouTube for the tape. But I don't have a VHS player, so I guess it doesn't matter.
I have 2 VHS players, but I really wanted to play this and try again, and it was hilarious how much of a cluster it became at the very end, because everyone is just trying to roll as fast as they can to get to the end of the game, and the insults that he throws. And I just kind of love, when you can have that experience, not just with people around you, but with people online too. So I'm very happy to hear that you guys are trying to transfer more of your media online.
Oh.
And for the fans out there, are there any other conventions you have coming up this year that they can catch your stuff at, or is it time for rest?
This year, mostly. We have one final show, which is our local anime con, KanjiCon, here in Albuquerque. So if you're in the Albuquerque area and you're listening to this, come on down to KanjiCon, and we'll have a little booth, and we'll do some demoing in their tabletop games area, and probably give out a few free games too. Other than that, our next big thing is PAX South, which will be in January. So if you're in the Texas or the Southwest regional area, come on down to PAX, and we'll see you there. We'll be running some events, tournaments, and whatnot.
Fantastic. Well, for any of the fans out there that missed any of this interview, don't sweat. You can find it on the main website within the next few days. But before we end, we actually have a 91.8 The Fan tradition that we trick all of our guests into, and we're wondering if you'd be willing to participate.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't know what it is, but I can hardly refuse at this point. I need to know. The curiosity alone is binding.
We basically ask everyone if they'd be willing to say a radio bump for us or a line for us. The trick of it, however, is that we do the takes live on air.
Okay, sure. I'd be happy to do one for you.
Fantastic. So we basically ask if you could say, hello, my name is, I do this, and you can say whatever you want there, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Okay, that's a long bump. Let me make some notes that I can get this right. Okay, so it's hello, name, I am.
Do whatever you want to say.
Some other thing.
And you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan. Okay,
and you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. Okay, all right. Let me give this a try. I'll just do a dry take here to get through it, and then I'll do a real one. All right. Hi, I'm Brad Talton, founder of Level 99 Games. Play more board games, and you're tuned in to 98.1.8 The Fan. Something like that.
Yeah, it's 91.8 The Fan, but pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, did I say 98.1?
Yeah, it's okay. Everybody does.
I think we have a local station that's 98.1.
Everyone does.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're totally good. So give it a
All right. Let's see. Cool. All right. Is this seasonal or anything? Should I wish happy holidays, or is it just a
it'll be played general. So yeah, don't have to wish happy holidays, but you can at the end of the interview.
All right, cool. Hey, I'm Brad Talton, founder of Level 99 Games, here to wish you guys happy gaming, and you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
See, look at that. That was perfect. Yay.
Was that good?
Yes, that was fantastic. If it makes you feel better, we have voice actors that come onto the show, and it takes them way more tries than that.
Oh, okay. Well, voice actors probably want to get it perfect. I know that even if I try, I won't, so I don't have to try so hard, I guess. Anyway.
So, since we are at the end of the interview, is there anything else you want to tell the fans out there? Any words of wisdom, dating advice, predictions for the end of the world?
Oh gosh. Don't take things too seriously. Make sure you take time to to spend with friends and family, because that's what really matters in the end. And I hope that you'll come and see us on online through our social media, Discord, and etc. We got a great community, and we'd like to meet more folks. So check out Level 99 Games.
And thanks for being so much on the show today. It's been great to talk to you again. And for any of the fans out there, remember, you can check out their website, and the rest of the interview will be up on the website within the next few days. So keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.